So good morning to anyone who catches this going out live right now. It is 6:44, 20th of March, 2020. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, or maybe even good morning if you check this out on the replays going forward. My name is John J. Cleveland Payne, and this is a video that is not in the more ideas, circumstances, not in the right lighting, or not in the right setting. I don't even have the actual sort of the scripted bullet points that I thought I'd have for this. But essentially, this is a video that I needed to put out because this is a message that I know some people need to hear and listen to with what's going on. This is a very real, very me, very real time thing going on. Now, right now, right now, we are in the middle of a global pandemic crisis, and we just can't you can't deny that. So many people have been actually affected by this virus, coronavirus, the novel coronavirus right now known as COVID-19, the current version of it. So many people have been, of course, indirectly affected by all the craziness that's going on in this stuff. And I have to make a quick admission before I go forward in this. And on yesterday, the 19th of March, was a day, even though this thing is very, very new and nowhere near over, is the day I basically got broken to all this situation. So let me give you a little backstory and go deeper into the actual topic, which is depression and dealing with this. So since middle January, I believe the news, and we've been talking about the Wuhan province in China, where the novel coronavirus originally came up, and going from there, and it spread from China to various places, some here, some in Europe, and just kind of it's blowing up. It's been a very slow go to get to where it is now, but now it's to a point where, because it's a virus that no one really understands, and unfortunately a lot of people just aren't really listening to the advice, we're doing a lot of seemingly overly overt steps to make sure that people stay safe. And right now, a lot of those things are literally staying away from people, staying the hell away from everybody right now. So what's happening, what's going on right now, what's happening here locally is a lot of places are shutting down to keep people from mingling and catching it and spreading people they don't know about. Here where I am in Arkansas, last week, as people started shutting things down and starting shutting things up, they made a very drastic decision to shut down the local schools around the state on Thursday. So last Friday, little JJ had to come to work with dad. Unfortunately, dad's job is working for a local college, and all week long, dad was working on their plan for shutting down for coronavirus as well. And we're still doing that. The plan was for taking off 6 days, Friday the next week, taking off spring break and coming back on the 30th. Yesterday, the 19th, the day I say broke me, was the day that our governor announced that he is requiring schools to be shuttered until the 17th of April. That's additional weeks after spring break. That means the soccer season that should have started this week is not going to start. That means I've got to figure out how to keep up with my kid for additional weeks and get her through her AMI, her alternative method instruction classes, while I am dealing with the AMI that I must work with for my own thing. Yesterday, of all the insanity that's been going on, the toilet paper being gone, the stores being just being out of meat for days at a time, the people just wandering around in the days. Yesterday, the realization that I've got to figure out what to do with my kid for an additional, I believe, 3 weeks really, really hit home. And so let me backtrack to the title that's actually on this video, which is Coronavirus and Depression, and backtrack a bit more. About 2 years ago, I went to a clinic. They had a mental health kind of walk-in clinic thing because for quite a time, essentially, in my life, I've been dealing with some sort of, just call it a buzz in my head. And when I left, after about 45 minutes of talking to folks and going through things, I left with an actual diagnosis of depression, middle mild grade depression, and based on just life and what I was dealing right now. And essentially the first thing they said was go talk to my PCP and go get some drugs. That was number one thing that I didn't like. So I didn't go that route. And I started working on various alternative methods to deal with it. One of them is every so often checking into therapy, not actually checking into therapy. How I manage my depression all my life, and especially after getting the diagnosis, is essentially two things: being busy, having something to do, having a mission of something to do, and having scheduled times where I can basically clean the slate, come up with a clear plan, and set up brand new missions. Basically, keep working. What we're dealing with right now, for people who are dealing with anxiety, depression, and I'm not a doctor, I'm just a person who deals with my own and some of theirs in some cases, is a case where there's too many triggers going on. There's too many things happening outside of the world. There's too many things that are outside of our control that are not allowing the people to have some semblance of order and life balance in what's going on. I have a gym membership that I don't use because I'm too busy doing stuff. And right now, all the gyms are closed, so I couldn't use it anyway. The weirdness of this is my credit card companies keep sending me emails to help tell me what they are doing to keep up with the coronavirus, and reminding folks to please be patient if you're calling on the phones, because there's a lot of people dealing with stuff right now. Let me tell you something that's a little more honest than I really want to get into. I'm not doing so great right now. I am not doing great at all right now. I manage because I have my wife and my daughter, and I have responsibilities to people, and I'm the guy that always sort of figures out a way to get things done and just sort of find a way to decompress in the back end. But right now, this is no joke. I am effing going nuts. There's too much going on. There's too many things going on. And there's not enough people who actually can give you good answers, or can, in some cases, follow the directions given to keep going. This is not uplifting. This is not exciting. This is real life. There are people out there who are dealing with this crisis, and you don't know how badly they want to just crawl under their beds and wait for something to happen. Maybe even for them to catch it and die, because right now they're tired of dealing with everything, including this. People aren't working, so they don't have anything to do. They're worried about paying bills. They're worried about taking care of people, elderly and sick parents, and all this homework that all these kids have. This is not the way this video was supposed to go. This was not the time that it was supposed to happen, but this is how it is. And this is how we are. Now, on the up note, we are going to get through this. We got this. We will get better. There have been so many amazing shows of just grand humanity going on out there. And it's only been here in the States a few weeks. It's only been in reality for the world a few months. And this thing may stretch on much, much longer than we need to. It seems ridiculous. We're all sitting in our houses on the internet talking to each other on computers, but it is what it is. So, not to belabor the point, but right now, there are people out there who are not handling this as well as they'd like to. They wish they could be stronger. They wish they could hold up better, but they can't. Right now, if you know me, give a damn about what I have to say. The greatest thing you can give right now is kindness, patience, and understanding. Kindness. Make sure the words you use are nicer words. Patience. Just suck it up and deal with a lot of the frustrations and stresses that you can. And understanding, there are people who are going to freak the F out regardless. You got to give it to them at this point in time. And when we get through this, because we don't know what the timeline is for this. Like I said, I was planning for 2 weeks with my kid being out. 1 week of those, my wife was going to take care of it because it was spring break anyway. Now I've got a month and all this homework, and I'm stressing over getting my work done because I've got to manage essentially other people's kids and their stuff. There are people out there doing much more important jobs than I am, fighting this disease and helping people stay well. There's people out there who are driving trucks and dealing with very, very frustrated and angry people at stores who are, a lot of them are doing it to themselves. And the amount of smiles I've seen and people doing customer service stuff and the amount of just satisfaction I'm seeing for people who are just getting a chance to do their job has been amazing. But there are people out there who are stressed out. And there are people out there who are really, really, really depressed. And there are people out there who need a little bit of extra kindness, patience, and understanding. So if you see me out there wandering around and you've obviously seen this thing, you already know I'm not doing so great. There, I said it, because if you ask me directly, I probably will say I'm fine, but I'm not. My depression is kicking in very, very, very hard. A lot of great opportunities that were supposed to be happening right now aren't happening because of other priorities. And that's the way it is. I'm not happy about it. I'm extremely stressed out about it, but I can't do anything about it but move forward. I'm not pitching any stories or any products or anything right now. I'm just telling you seriously, there have been a lot of things that have happened in my life that should be much, much better right now that literally in the past couple of weeks have just fallen apart. And there are other people who are in even worse situations than I am, because at least I have a job that's pretty important and gives me something to do. And I wasn't laid off because I'm a bartender or I'm an Uber driver or I'm a hotel worker or something like that. This is not the most eloquent, most best this video I've done. And this is not the situation I like to do it. And I've had this planned out for a couple days to do something that was really more structured. And I probably will get something more structured out during the weekend. But I really, really, really needed the vent. Yesterday was a day where I just did not know what I was going to do next. As I'm taking calls for people trying to figure out how to get their classwork in so the students don't have to stop taking classes, I was at a complete loss of where I was going to do what I was doing next. And I basically sat in my office while my daughter was trying to work on some work, being distracted as she is because she's 7, and just sort of stared at the door, just wondering what was next. I don't know what is next. For me, hopefully there's a much more structured video that explains what to do for people who are dealing with stuff like this, and it probably will be, but not at this moment. Right now, I have to go see whether the allergy doctor is still going to give her allergy shot this week, so I don't worry about that. We got to go pick up some supplies before we get into work and do another full day of people troubleshooting issues for tech stuff that would not be as hard as it would be if they could just show up and do it, as opposed to doing it from home or wherever they are. Say a few extra prayers for everyone. I need a couple extra right now, I'm telling you right now. And make sure you're offering up some patience and some understanding. The worst thing about this is there is no timeline. I mean, when I have no timeline, I freak out because I need to have some sort of structure. I need to know when the get well date is. I need to know when the kill time is. I need to know when we're shutting this thing down. I live off a clock. My world is a clock, and that's how it is. This clock is running extended, and I don't know what's going on. A lot of people out there are in the same situation, and they have even worse mechanisms or worse coping mechanisms than I do. They don't cope as well as I do, I'm basically saying. And I'm not saying I'm coping all that well right now at all. Right now, I'm saying I'm not doing well at all. And I'm doing this live on this recording, so I'm a little weirded out by this. But make sure you're offering up plenty of extra care, patience, and understanding right now, because we all need it. If you need someone to talk to, reach out to me in the various ways, to reach out to me, because I will stop what I'm doing and talk to pretty much anybody going through anything. People know that. And if you ask me how I'm doing, don't let me get away by saying I'm okay. This is one of those times where I'm asking you to go ahead and push, because I know better. Thank you guys for popping in and seeing us live. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, depressing, or dumb. Thank you for anybody who catches us on the replay. Let me know what you think about it. Right now, the news not nowhere near normal enough for me. So I'm going to sign out and try to just get through another day, because that's all we can do, is not quite sign out, but work through these day by day. Thanks for listening.